What's up everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Demon Souls. In the last episode I said we would get into some pretty cool lore today in this episode. But first we're going to do a little bit of leveling up. So like I said, I have a very specific plan for what I'm doing with a few of my early levels. I'm going to pump my strength up a bit, and I think I'm going to have more than enough to get it up to 22, which is what I want, so let's spend some other points here first. Endurance and vitality. And then we will get this up to 22. Off screen I was consuming a whole bunch of the souls that we picked up, like the renowned soldiers and all that shit. Haven't used our demon soul yet. The lead demon soul. Actually, yeah, I did. I consumed that just for, I think, 1,600 souls. You really can't make much out of Vallarfax's soul, except for, I can't remember the name of the spear. It's some weird spear that, again, I'm not going to plan on using, so I'm not going to put Vallarfax's soul towards anything weapon-wise anyway. Just going to be a few level ups. And with our endurance leveled up, I think our equip burden is higher now. So I can equip pants! Yes, pants! Now, I no longer represent the Order of the Pantsless Knights. I also want to mess around here real quick and just see what I can get away with. So, hold on, I'll cut ahead. Okay, I think I have a pretty good idea of my my equipment here. I finally have my purple flame shield. Oh wait, I am encumbered in some way. You know what? I'll take my helmet off. They all give me about the same defensive boost, and I want pants. So, helmet is trumped by pants in this case. Now I can wield, because the problem is the purple flame shield I'm now wielding, which is an awesome shield, is also quite heavy. So, gonna run around with pants, my armor, my halberd, and my PFS. We're off to the world of the Shrine of Storms, where people worship shadow men and flying stingrays maraud through the air. So the Shrine of Storms, World 4-1 is not a typical second level. Most people probably go for either 2-1, the second Archstone, level 1 of that, or the second level of Boletarian Palace, World 1-2, as their second level. Nope, I'm going for 4-1 for a very specific weapon, the Crescent Falcon +1. But first, okay, so I'm gonna say that tentatively. I can definitely get to it no matter what. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to finish this level otherwise, because as you can see, the level's tuned around maybe a little bit more buffed up character and more buffed up equipment. Again, though, I always have to emphasize, if you're going through this game for the first time, you are perfectly capable of clearing anything out in the game with whatever level and whatever equipment that you want. You don't have to grind anything out, you don't have to farm any special equipment. It helps. It speeds things along. Now, if you are prone to a lot of mistakes, obviously the harder tuned worlds are going to punish you much harder. They're going to really exploit your weaknesses. So I'm just going to test the waters here. Right away you notice these enemies are way more aggressive, way more damaging than the Dreglings in World 1-1. Even tougher than the Blue Eyes Knights. Shit, they're harder than Vallarfax. But, of course, not too difficult. They have the rolling attack, which I seem to always fall for and take a little bit of chip damage from. Not even chip damage, that would imply that they're doing damage through my block. I just tend to take, like, little scrapes from that. They do their big little wind-up that, although it takes a shit ton out of your stamina bar and kind of breaks your guard a little bit, it's not too hard to avoid because of the long wind-up. And then we have the archers up here. Oh, and a roly-poly. I want to bait him back away from the arrows. The less things that I have to deal with at a time, the better. Whoa! Oh, it was a corpse that flew off. I was wondering what the hell came flipping out of nowhere. He's stuck behind a tree. This is an advantageous position for me. That's one of the things I will say about Demon Souls. The pathfinding for enemies can be pretty terrible. In fact, you can exploit it in a lot of situations, especially against harder enemies. You can usually get them stuck behind walls or rolling into something without being able to find the door, and you can just hit them through that. You can actually do that for one of the hardest bosses in the game, because his arena has plenty of things like skeletons and giant rib cages that he just gets stuck on. And of course, I'm talking about Flame Lurker. Of course, when we get to Flame Lurker, we're gonna try to avoid using any exploitative tactics to kill him. We want to do it all legitimate, the way it was meant to be done. Okay, now that I've got my bearings a little bit, these guys are not that big of a deal. So, cool lore. So you remember back in the last episode, when I was going back through the Bolitarian Palace in Pure White World Tendency, there was a ring under the Dragon's Roost. And I told you to pay special attention to that ring. Here's why. It's widely accepted that Executioner Miralda captured and imprisoned both Biorr and Yuria the Witch. And I don't think any of those characters, including Miralda herself, have any dialogue that directly implicates Miralda in Biorr's capture. So I'm not entirely sure how people have concluded that. It's a reasonable assumption, though, given that Yuria does directly state Miralda captured her, and we're going to wind up rescuing Biorr in a similar state. Biorr, by the way, one of the twin fangs mentioned in the second cutscene in the first episode. The other being Vallarfax. And before I go on with that, just past the way back there was the very first tutorial boss, Vanguard. He shows up here in 4-1. And now that I triggered the plate trap, I just want to get that out of the way. We come across here, and there's a body with something on it on the other side of that fence that we can't get to yet. And there's a better view of Vanguard. We'll be fighting him in a little bit, but we're going to come up top real quick. Or not up top, but we're going to come out here. So anyway, about Biorr and Vallarfax. So it's reasonable to assume that Biorr was captured by Miralda, even if it's not directly stated. However, there are only two places in the game where you can get a Ring of Great Strength, and I bring Biorr up for that reason. The Ring of Great Strength, according to the item's description, is something that is granted to the Twin Fangs of Bolitaria. Biorr and Vallarfax, they both have one. So, there are two places you can pick that up in the whole game. You can kill Biorr and take his, or you can get one from underneath the Dragon's Roost in 1-1. And hold on. This fight is a little dicey. Instead of having just red-eyed knights, like in 1-1, we have red-eyed dual-wielding katana skeletons. The infamous black samurai skeleton. God. He has one attack that I am just very scared of. It's almost like an X-Strike, and it does insane damage, and even if you block it, it takes like all of your stamina to block. And I'm only doing 11 damage a hit with the halberd. He's there it is. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I have to... You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to backpedal towards the item he's guarding that I want. Because the only reason we're fighting him is to get to the treasure behind him. You could see it from the stairs that we came up. This is it. Oh god, please. Shit. I am so lucky to have blocked that. So now we have the Crescent Falcon +1. I'll go back into what I was talking about with Biorr and Vallarfax. So yeah, two places in the whole game to get the Ring of Great Strength. Now, why is that? Why can we get the Ring of Great Strength off of a corpse, a charred, smoldering corpse underneath the Dragon's Roost? My presumption is that Vallarfax, who the game states ventured out beyond the fog and warned the world of Boletaria's plight with the colorless fog and the demons, he eventually returned, and through some set of circumstances, we're going to take revenge on the skeleton here, through some set of circumstances, he was captured and killed by the dragon. Now, it's a safe assumption that Miralda probably was responsible for the capture of Vallarfax as well. Here's where it gets a little dicey as to what happened. Biorr wears brushwood armor, and you can pick up a full set of brushwood armor behind Miralda where she jumped us in episode, was that 3? Something like that. You can pick up a full set of the armor that Biorr wears, and presumably that Vallarfax would also wear. So people are assuming that that set of brushwood armor belongs to Vallarfax, and Miralda probably captured and executed him and left his body back there. But given that the Ring of Great Strength is underneath the Dragon's Roost on a different body, people are kind of coming to the conclusion that maybe the brushwood armor was a more generic, standard knight or Boletarian elite armor, and that it wasn't specific to the Twin Fangs. Either way, it's pretty safe to assume that Vallarfax, who is never seen again, is dead. Probably one way or another captured by Executioner Miralda. As to how he died, that's a little bit up in the air. Which corpse belongs to him is probably up in the air. One of those two corpses is likely Vallarfax's, though, leaving Biorr the only remaining Twin Fang as of this game. And he can die. I'm hoping he does not, though. We are going to rescue him later on. He resides currently in World 1-2, the second level Boletarian Palace, but we need a set of keyring from an NPC in World 1-3, and we can't access World 1-3 until we kill an Archdemon, which is the end world boss for any of the 5 worlds. So we have to clear either World 2, 3, 4, or 5 before we can access World 1-3 and get the keyring. But that's enough about Boletarian Palace. Shrine of Storms level 1 is one of probably 3 levels in the game where I get just insanely turned around, and that's happening right now. I know this passage leads to one of 2 places. I think one of the places this leads, it comes up behind Vanguard. The other one, I believe, leads to a trapped NPC. Oop. Of course, you always have to watch out for ambushes down here. That big strike I like, because it takes him a while to recover from it. It gives you plenty of opportunities to attack. By the way, I didn't talk about the Crescent Falcon, +1. It is a weapon that comes pre-upgraded, and the message there said attack because the walls were illusionary? Something like that. So you just hit the wall and the wall disappears. The Crescent Falcon +1 has fairly high base damage. It's in the 80s. It scales with your magic stat. I think I have a fairly low magic stat, so I'm only getting something like +10 damage off of that. That's still already 90 damage. It also comes with, I think, 50 or 60 magic damage, which adds to its physical damage. So it's a massive upgrade from the halberd. It's also much slower, or I mean much quicker. Also, it doesn't have the big, wide, sweeping arc or the range of the halberd, but that's kind of a boon given this area, because it's real tight and narrow. It's not going to glance off the walls as often as the halberd would in here. In more open spaces, though, the halberd, if it did more damage, would have an advantage over the falchion, because of that wide, sweeping arc and the range, of course. But all in all, I'm going to be using the Crescent Falcon for quite a long time. I do have some kind of a plan for future weapons, but nothing too concrete yet. I'm gonna let it be more fluid than anything else. I have an idea of what I want to go for, but you know, maybe some new things will crop up. That was Graverobber Blige, I believe his name is, and I forgot to go back and get the key. This is another illusionary wall. The key, by the way, is on the corpse. If you know, in the very beginning when you turn right or left to go down one of the two passages where we met the first arrow trap, and then straight ahead was Vanguard, that corpse behind the gate on the right is the one that has the key, I believe, but I can't remember exactly how to get to him. Like I said, this is a level that I get very, very turned around in, unfortunately. So instead of going back towards Vanguard right now, I'm gonna go up these stairs, and I don't remember where these stairs lead. So, let's see, it's around here. I see no stingrays, which is good. Always a good sign when you don't have to deal with stingrays. I see one off in the distance. See this guy? Fucking goddamn it. Always stingrays. Killed Steve Irwin, and now they're trying to kill me. Is this the third or the fourth game I've Let's Played with stingrays? There was Oster's Wrath. I thought there was another recent one. You end up doing Mega Man X4 eventually. That has, what was he, Jet Stingray? Man, should just Let's Play every game with a stingray in it. I want to do Treasures of the Deep at some point. Treasures of the Deep. That game you've heard me talk about 1,000 times, but I've never actually played or heard of. God, I love Treasures of the Deep. Now I'm just going to pick up some Treasures of the Behind Vanguard. Which is a terrible joke. Good weapon, though. The uchigatana, which is our first katana-like weapon. Speaking of katanas, actually, let's save that for the next episode so I can get my bearings right now and check through my equipment. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.